Hello and welcome to Maldorma TV. This is episode 17 and I'm Magnus Ahlberg.
And I'm Tobias Ahlberg. In the past 2 episodes we have talked about our spiritual journey to India. In episode 15 we talked about a visit to Kanchidham, the great ashram for Neem Karoli Baba.
Yeah.
And then in episode 16 we talked about our visit to Kakrighat and Padapuri to visit the ashrams of Sombari Baba.
Yeah. And in this episode we're going to continue our journey, and in this the next places we visited were the ashrams and temples of a saint called Haidakhan Baba or Hariakhan Baba.
Yeah.
Which was a saint that lived in the very same area as Neem Karoli Baba and Sombari Baba.
Yeah, and I think he was actually alive during the same period as Sombari Baba. I think we mentioned in the previous episode that they actually met and had quite an exchange with each other.
And both Sombari Baba and Hariakhan Baba lived about 100 years ago. So none of them are very well known in the West or in India for that matter, but they are considered to be that they were very high evolved spiritually, and some of the highest evolved saints in that area of all time, basically.
Yeah. And we're also going to talk about Haidakhan Babaji, which was alive quite recently. I think he died in 85 or something like that, or
in the 80s.
Yeah, in the 80s. So he has been alive during the period where many people who are alive today have been able to visit him. So we decided to go to that ashram as well.
Yeah. And there's a connection between Haidakhan Baba and Hariakhan Baba. They sound very similar, and actually it's the same name, but I think I said this in the previous episode that Hariakhan and Haidakhan, the R and the D in the Hindu language or Sanskrit or what they are using in these names are actually a sound in the middle of between R and D. And it's in the translation to our alphabet that the R and D get mixed up, and sometimes they spell it with an R and sometimes with a D, but the old one often I have seen are written with Hariakhan Baba.
Yeah, while the newer one is mostly called Haidakhan Babaji.
Yeah, but the newer one, the one that died in the 80s, actually said he was an incarnation of the older one.
I think, he actually took it to court, I think.
Yeah, he took it to court and kind of convinced the court that he was the same man as the old one, and that he therefore had a right to use the older Hariakhan Baba's temples and ashrams.
Yeah.
So
so we naturally felt that why not go visit this place as well?
Yeah, and they are very close by to Nainital where we're living.
Yeah, close to Haldwani as well.
Yeah.
So I've had read a little bit about this Haidakhan Babaji.
The younger one.
Yeah, the younger one. Some of his quotes, and I felt like I didn't have a strong attraction to him, but I still felt it would be. It still felt like I would wanted to go there.
Yeah, and also the week before we went to India, we were in Switzerland on a Sri M retreat where we met a British gentleman who had visited the younger one, the Haidakhan Baba Ashram up in the mountain near Haldwani, and he said it was one of the most powerful places he had been at.
Yeah.
So we felt we had some time, and you had read about the younger one and felt, we can go there as well. We have the time to do it, so why not?
Yeah, and it was actually also one woman there at the Sri M retreat who had visited him when he was alive.
Okay.
She mentioned briefly that, and when she visited him, she said that she has never felt such love and such compassion as when she was with this Haidakhan Babaji.
Yeah.
So we saw it as quite a synchronicity that we met these people just before, the week before, so we felt like, okay, let's put that on the list as well and go visit it.
Yeah, and it's really close by, and it's very interesting that this small area in India has so many saints living there, have been living there. And it's actually called, the area is called Devabhumi, as KK Sa's book that we talked about in the previous episode, which means abode of the gods. Yeah. So yeah.
And I just must want to go a little bit off topic here, but I saw a video with KK where he got the question, why are there no saints in these areas anymore? Because if you go there today, you're not going to find any of these saints.
Yeah.
And he said that, well, there are still saints in the physical form.
Yeah.
But he said they are no longer needed in the same... it's coming to a shift where we can feel the presence of these divine saints without seeing them in physical form.
Right.
The collective evolution or consciousness of mankind is starting to rise, so we're able to go inwards and find these saints within. And I think that was a really good explanation to what's happening in the world today.
And it's also very in line with our own experiences, where, as we have talked about in previous episodes in our podcast, Tobias and I have had many spiritual experiences where we have experienced the same thing, that there's a shift going on right now on Earth where it will become easier for people to wake up, pretty much.
Yeah, and I felt it very much when we were in Kanchidam, especially, that it felt like Maharaji was still there.
Yeah.
We didn't need the physical body.
And we're going to talk about it to some extent today as well.
Yeah.
Or what happened at these places.
Yeah, so basically the ride to get to this place, it was quite a long ride.
First we was at the older ones.
Yeah.
So I think we take the right order.
Yeah.
So before we went to the younger Haidakhan Baba's ashram, we visited the temple of the older one that KK Sa talks about in his book Devabhumi. That's pretty much why we knew about him, and I had never heard about that saint ever, and he has a few chapters about that old saint that lived at the same time as Sombar Baba, and he was regarded as a very highly evolved spiritual being and did miracles. And I also read that there's a temple in the city, at the outskirts of the city Haldwan. That's really close to Nainital. It's called Katgaria. It's a temple dedicated to the old Hariakhan Baba. And that when they built that temple and installed the murti, the statue of Hariakhan, actually he showed himself in a kind of etherical form as a glowing shape.
Yeah.
And a lot of the old devotees went into this ecstasy.
Yeah.
So it felt like, well, we will visit this place as well. It's close by to Nainital where we lived. And so we started off in the small temple of the old Hariakhan Baba in Katgaria in the city of Haldwani. It's quite easy to find. Yeah. It's on Google Maps actually, and we will also write an article about this on our website where you can find pictures and where it's at, basically.
And there's a lot of people but there's said that he was also one of the reincarnations of the great Mahavatar Babaji.
Yeah, that Yogananda talks about in his book.
I'm not sure if that's true or not, but that at least shows you which quite high stature he was. He was a great saint, basically.
And also I think that he was very... both Hindus and Buddhists came to him, and Ramdas actually writes a few pages about this saint as well in his book Be Love Now.
Okay.
And I know that Krishnadas, that we are a fan of, also have a picture of him at his own puja table at his home. Yeah.
And when we arrived to the small temple, I think it was one of the... It wasn't so clean as the others. It felt like there were less caretakers of this temple.
Yeah.
Perhaps they have less funding than previous places. Not as many tourists and people coming there.
The thing is that this Haidakhan Baba, the old one, is not very known today. He was actually not that well known when he lived either. And this temple was really falling apart, basically. And... I don't think they have much funding at all. Still, it was a nice place. It's quite small. As we said, it was decaying and dirty and all that, and not many visitors. There's a bunch of people hanging out there, but I don't think they were there specifically for the spiritual reasons.
No, it felt more like this was a common place where some of the people in the area just come together. They sit down and talk and eat.
Yeah.
So it felt more like a gathering point than they were actually doing any spiritual practice or any devotion towards Haidakhan Baba.
And I think they were quite surprised to see 3 Westerners. It was you, me, and our friend Nicholas coming to this temple. I actually, when we walked a part of the way over there, and people were just looking at us. What are 3 Westerners doing in this part of town? I don't think they have any Westerners over there at all. Basically.
No, it was on the outskirts of Haldwani, so not in the city center. So they were very surprised to see us coming and going there.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we sat down, and it was also interesting to see that within the small, where they had this statue of him, there were also pictures of this Haidakhan Babaji.
The younger one.
The younger one. Yeah. So you certainly felt that at least the people there around that temple felt that there were a connection between them two.
Yeah, they probably felt that the younger one's claim that he was an incarnation of the older one was true. It seems like most of the people in this temple thought that. So you had a picture of both. The statue was of the older one, but there were pictures hanging on the walls of the younger one.
Yeah. And I think it was a nice place. Very nice and relaxing place. I didn't really have any experiences per se when I was in that, or any feelings or connecting anything with Hariakhan Baba, but a nice place nonetheless, and nice people working there around the temple.
Yeah, there's one man taking care of the temple, as I noticed, and he also made sure that we were comfortable and gave us prasad and things like that. And he was very nice, and we stayed there for a while, not that long. We sat down inside the temple where the statue is and meditated for a while, and then walked around inside the area and looked around. Yeah.
But I think what was more impactful for both of us was when we visited the Haidakhan Babaji ashram, and there's in the Haidakhan Babaji ashram, the younger Babaji. He has his ashram, but then just over goes a small river. Just over the river, there's a temple, and that's the Hariakhan Baba temple.
The temple dedicated to the older one.
Yeah.
As we understood it before we went there. And so I think it was the day after we had visited the small temple to the older one in Katgaria that we went to the bigger ashram of the younger one. And he is quite well known. We could add in the West, a lot of Westerners went to the younger one in the 80s. So that ashram was quite big, and it's actually located up in the mountains by a river, and it's really a beautiful place.
Yeah, it's just a breathtaking place. Just being in that area. I think one of the mountains in that area is called Small Kailash. Because it's emanates such energy similar to Mount Kailash. So you could certainly feel that there was a good energy in this area.
And Mount Kailash is this holy mountain in Tibet that both Buddhists and Hindus make pilgrim journeys to.
And but it was quite a long journey to get there. Took a few an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours even. In a cab to get there, and quite a bad road to get there, but nonetheless it was quite a comfortable ride. Beautiful scenery traveling there.
And I can also add that before we went to this ashram, I wasn't really that impressed by this younger Haidakhan Baba. I actually thought that he might be a fraud or something like that. There's a lot of Westerners going there, and I didn't really have any connection to him at all, and didn't think that highly of him, I might add. Because it's important to the story that what happened next, actually. I was more into the old Hariakhan Baba. He felt like this, big saint that Ramdas and Krishna is talking about in KK.
Yeah.
But this younger one, not so much for me.
Yeah, and it is easier to look in the past. Longer back you go, the more highly you think of them, and it becomes a different thing when it's in recent time, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, we arrived there, and what was different here from previous places was that this ashram was actually open when we visited there.
Yeah, it was highly active, and there were a lot of Westerners there, a lot of Indian people there, and it was quite big.
Yeah. That was what surprised me. The complex where people could stay, very nice, very clean, very big. A lot of people could go there, so I think perhaps in the future I would like to go back and stay in the ashram at some point. We'll see.
Yeah, and we started off in the younger one, Haidakhan Baba's ashram, and there was this statue of him and pictures, and we sat there meditating. I wasn't really getting into it. This was actually also the day after we'd been in Kanchidam for the second day, where I had this strong spiritual experience, and I just wanted to get over with this visit, and then we would go to Rishikesh, where I thought, this was just a kind of
last stop.
I didn't really have any connection to it, and I remember when I walked around in this ashram, I didn't feel anything, and I wasn't really paying the respect to the saint either that I had been doing with other saints that we've been visiting. I sat down and meditated and prostrated but I didn't really
do it from the heart.
Yeah. It was more like just doing it because what I wanted was to get over the river to the old Hariakhan Baba temple, where the real one, where I could do some serious devotion to a real saint. That was the feeling the state of being I was in, quite foolish in a way, but I have to be honest here.
Yeah, of course.
But
I shared similar, perhaps not to the same extent, but I had a similar feeling as well. Wasn't really paying attention, giving it enough respect. So we walked through the ashram quite quickly and head over to the temple.
But we did like it. It was a beautiful place. No,
really beautiful. place.
So it wasn't that. It's just I didn't think that the guru it was dedicated to was genuine. That's basically the problem I had with the place at the moment. So we kind of, as you said, rushed through it and then headed over down the river to the other temple that was supposedly connected to the old Hariakhan Baba.
Yeah, and it was when you come there. There's a bunch of statues, a bunch of idols. And then we started I think it was 5-6 rows with different rooms with idols and statues.
Immediately when we came over there, I realized that this temple was pretty much all dedicated to the younger Baba and not the old one as I thought. And all the devotees there was devotees of the younger one, not to the older one. And there was also a lot of Westerners there with Rasta looking hair and stuff like that. And I was really disappointed that, oh my God, this is just this is not a real deal either. So I was really disappointed when I walked into the temple. I had big expectations that it would be the place, and it was just this. It felt exploited by Westerners, basically. It's not. I had this, picture of the true Indian guru, and this was just not a place for Westerners, basically. And I just went through all these idols, these statues, prostrated. Got it over with. But then this old man there said, it was really nice. He came up to us, but your first time here. But oh yeah. If you want, you can go down to the cave where Babaji, the younger one, had meditated or done his spiritual practice for 10-15 years. I don't know. So we were given the key to the cave, and it was like, all right, why not? And we went down and sat and meditated in this cave, and that's where things really started happening for me, at least. You can share your story. I can share mine afterwards. So I sat down and meditated, and just I think the intention or the mindset, the state of being that I had was like,
all right, I welcome you. I welcome you into my to show yourself, or just to I don't know how to phrase it, but just welcoming him into my area, my space, and just feeling the surroundings and feeling this energy from this cave. And and I don't know how long we sat there. I think it was quite a while.
You and Nicholas, I went outside actually after a while. I will come to that later when I share my story.
Yeah, so maybe it was an hour or so, 45 minutes, I don't know. Can't remember, just sitting there. And then I like open my eyes, and your eyes are adjusted to the dark. So you go out and you see the sun, and then your eyes starts adjusting to the light. And when I came out, it was I don't know how to explain it, but I just say the golden present. Just when the present moment, like everything is glowing, like everything is you just feel in the moment you're connected to everything, and you feel like connected to people, you feel fully present, and you just see the divine in everything. So I came into that state of being, and I was just walking around and like being thankful to this Haidakhan Babaji, like what a fool I had been, like not taking him serious and not showing him respect. So it was interesting just to be what that effect in that cave had on me. And then I was just walking around, enjoying the present moment, just enjoying all the people around there, just feeling love towards them instead of having any judgments towards them at all, or anyone in the ashram. So that was a beautiful experience.
And it's quite similar to what happened to me. As I said, I didn't respect this man. I thought he might have been a hoax. I was really disappointed when we came to the temple, where I expected to meet the old Hariakhan Baba, that it was supposed to be dedicated to him, but it was all just this younger one, and a lot of Westerners that felt like, not these hardcore seekers that I identify myself as. So I had a big ego trip, basically. And when I came there, I said I felt really disappointed, and I felt, what the hell? I had so high expectations, and now this hoax and all of these Westerners and all that. So I was really disappointed, and immediately when I kind of gave up my expectation and accepted the disappointment, I went into this really high state. That was pretty much like the day before when I was in Kanchidam, where I went into this really high state of being while meditating and chanting. But this time it just happened by itself. I didn't meditate anything. I just came into it. And I could see what a fool I was not respecting this man. I could see how foolish I had been, and how it was my ego all the way, having these expectations of this real guru, the old one, and not respecting the newer one. And I could also see that it was all about permission slips. The whole trip to India was actually a permission slip for me to have spiritual experiences, because I didn't really think that I could have them at home without, except for psychedelics, which I had used. But then I went to Kanchidam and had my first strong spiritual experiences sober, without the help of psychedelics. But I still thought it was about Neem Karol Baba and the ashram. But now when I was at a place with this guru that I didn't really think that highly of, and it happened spontaneously, I understood in that moment that the whole trip to India was actually a permission slip to experience my higher self. And I saw that the permission slips in themselves, that's all they are. They're only permission slips. You don't have to go to Haidakhan Baba or Hariakhan Baba or Neem Karol Baba ashrams. This can happen anywhere. But the mind needs permission slips. They need to think that there are certain circumstances must be in place for you to have these experiences. So permission slips works, but only to get you to the place where you realize that it was only permission slips.
And that's interesting when you're actually in this state, once you get into it, once you get in the present, or your higher state,
Yeah.
you don't really feel the need to be there anymore.
No.
You can walk around and be completely comfortable there, but you don't see this place as anything else than 2 kilometers in Haldani or anywhere else. It's like when you're in the state of being, it's just everything.
But when you're not in the state of being, you're hunting for these places to get you to these states of being. But as soon as you reach the state of being, you realize, I didn't really have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But in a way, you had to. Because you needed the permission slip. Because what I saw was, it wasn't Neem Karol Baba that gave me the experience the day before. It was myself. Yeah. Because as Neem Karol Baba himself said, it's all one. Yeah. It's inside of you.
And that's interesting also with the state of being that I was in when I meditated. Just, okay, let's just allow it to happen.
Yeah.
Just allow it. And that I could have sit here and just allow it, and the same thing would happen. It says, as you say, you need these permission slips because the mind needs it.
Yeah,
the mind needs it to rest, to let go.
And the mind will, if the mind doesn't believe that it can happen anywhere, it won't happen anywhere.
Yeah.
So we pretty much need the permission slips in the beginning, but but eventually your mind will start to get it, and that it can happen anywhere. So this was a huge experience for me, and I realized that, okay, it wasn't really Neem Karol Baba the day before. It was actually just me thinking that being in Neem Karol Baba's ashram in Kanchidam would make something happen. And it did happen, but it was my higher self all the way. But my higher self is the same higher self as Neem Karol Baba. So in a sense, it was him, but it's all one. As Neem Karol Baba said, sub-ek, it's all one.
Yeah.
And I could see it this time as well, that I didn't really need old Hariakhan Baba. The new Haidakhan Baba was just as good. And it's just about me accepting that I can go into these states of being whenever, wherever.
Yeah, and when you think back of it, just how you get caught up in these games you play with yourself, like, I can be really spiritual if it's this guru, but not this guru. Then you're creating separation.
Yeah, and it's all ego. It's the ego trip. And also how I look down at the other Westerners over there, the ones that I didn't really feel were there for the right reasons. But just foolish of me. Extremely. I could see how big in the ego I had been when I came into this state of being in the younger one, Haidakhan Baba's temple. And then we went down. This happened before we went into the cave. So when we went down there, I was in the state where, as you said, you don't really need to. Because I was already there. So that's why I went outside the cave, and I just sat by the river watching the water while you guys were meditating, basically.
And when I came out, I mean, it was just such a joy to just sit down, watch the people around in the ashram, watch the river. You just connected with everyone and everything. It's just it's a beautiful feeling, and by all means, please visit the ashram because it's such a beautiful place. And what it does to actually go there is that you allow yourself this time. You allow yourself to do the spiritual practice. You allow yourself to have the permission slips that you need to go into this state of being. So, I mean, we're not saying that you don't need to, but in one way,
slips
it's good to do.
But it's not what you think it is. It's just permission slips. But you need permission slips, basically, most of us, in the beginning.
So it's state of being that's the only thing you need, actually, but easier said than done.
Actually, this experience was the top experience for me for the whole journey. In the place that I pretty much felt no connection to, I actually thought the guy was a hoax. And what God wanted to show me was pretty much slap me in the face and say, it's also here. And I could also, when I went into this higher state of being, I realized that this younger guru was the real deal. Also. Because when we walked back to his ashram, when we were returning, I felt this, I need to go in and pay his statue the true respect that he deserved. Because in a way, he was the one who gave me this experience. He showed me what he was and where I was in my ego big time.
Yeah.
So I went inside again and prostrated, and this time it truly came from the heart.
Yeah, that was a big difference
Yeah.
from the first one and the second
Yeah.
one.
But-
And it was interesting when we walked outside as well. There was an old man who came up to you.
When we walked back to the ashram and we were in this high state of being, this totally different state of being that we was in when we came. We walked past an old man that was sitting and doing some work on a sewing machine, and I guess he was an old devotee and stayed at the ashram at the time where his guru lived, the young Haidakhan Baba. And I walked past him, and then I went into the temple and prostrated and all that. Then this man came running towards me and gave me a hug and just was extremely happy to see me, because I could see, just as in Kanchidam, that this man saw what state of being I was in, and I intuitively knew that he was so happy that a Westerner, or at least a person, had this experience in his guru's ashram. And he was so proud, and he was so happy to see that someone came to his guru's ashram and had this experience and came to this state of being. So he was just overflowing with joy and gave me a hug, and we passed this man earlier, and he didn't give us a notice at all, because he could see what state of being we was in this time.
Yeah.
And he was just actually running to catch up with me, because we passed him, and he was just, I guess he felt it, and felt that he needed to run up to me and do this.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful moment,
Yeah.
and it's just. I just remember as well when we left the ashram, the people sitting outside. It's like when you're in this state of being, you just what do you say? You just
Emanate
this
something,
energy,
yeah. And also when we went outside of the ashram, there was a small shop there, and it was a young man running the shop, and he also came out running and wanted to shake my hand, because he also felt it.
Yeah.
Just as the old man, and not everyone felt it. There were a lot of other people that didn't really notice, but there's certain people that seem to notice when you're in this state of being, and that is of course because they are connected themselves.
And it was interesting when you walk around, you connect when you look people in the eyes, and you can just get this connection with them.
Yeah.
And was also interesting just the flow you're in when you're in this state of being. I just remember walking like you're not afraid of taking a wrong step or anything happening. You're just in the flow. It was a car coming just behind me, and I just intuitively felt like jump to the left.
Yeah.
And I moved to the left, just prepared, and you're like shouting to me like 1 second afterwards, like move to the left, Tobias, and I had already done it. So it was like you get into this flow, and where just everything happens naturally. Just
and
cool experience.
It's all love. It's all happiness. You're completely happy. You're completely peaceful inside, and you just love everyone, and you're also very humble. Yeah. I felt very humble towards the young Hariakhan Baba, as I said, and it was just, this state of being is so beautiful, and it was the exact same state of being as the day before in Kanchidam.
Yeah, you just get this total appreciation for these saints. I mean, they have come here just to show us this. Yeah, just to come here and let us know that there's something much bigger. There's something that you connect to, that it's never-ending love. It's never-ending peace. It's never-ending harmony, and it's just they come down here to show us, and you just get such an appreciation just for. Being in this state of being just for a small while, but knowing that you can get there. Just keep it up, just do your practice and keep it up.
I'm actually putting up the young Hariakhan Baba on my wall here pretty soon. He deserves the place. And also when you're in this state, as I said, your intuition opens up, and you just know things. Just as I said, when this old man came up to me, I knew exactly why he came up, what he saw in me, and all that. And the same thing happened in Kanchidam when I met the man. That also I knew everything, why he was happy and all of that. It's just you just know things intuitively, and I knew all these things about permission slips just came to me, and I saw the whole game I had been playing with myself in an instant. I just, okay, this is what I've been doing, and this is how I proceed now. And these experiences actually, this was one of the biggest experiences for me. It happened because it showed me how much I have been hunting experiences, and I traveled across the globe to have these experiences, but they are always right here.
Yeah.
You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to search. You're already there. You just have to open your eyes and allow it, basically.
Yeah. And I mean, I think this visit in Nainital and this in Haidakhan was such a learning experience. I mean, you get to know a lot about yourself and the way your ego works, and you came just more aware of yourself, and hopefully you won't slip into the same mistake again.
But also we fell in love in these places, and we realized that we had to go to India. This would never have happened in Sweden. I would never have figured out that it was all about permission slips. But now I know it can happen here as well. It doesn't have to be in India. But I will probably go there again because it's real nice and beautiful. And and I do think that to some extent I still need permission slips, and it's okay.
Yeah, and it's important to be aware of it.
Yeah.
To raise your awareness that maybe I know I need a permission slip, and that's okay. And it's also one thing of understanding it theoretically.
Yeah.
But going to India was really a good understanding for us practically to experience it firsthand and really learn it and take it to heart.
Yeah, and this time I had my first spontaneous spiritual experience that didn't come from meditation or drugs or anything like that. It just happened. And basically happened because I gave up. I dropped my expectations. And then there it was, right there.
Yeah.
And I remember just laughing out loud pretty much when it happened, because it was so clear what it was all about.
Such a simple thing actually, but so hard to do in many occasions.
And it's funny to see how what you're doing when you're in your ego, it's actually just you're so stupid in a way, but and when you see it, it's so funny.
Yeah, you just laugh at it.
Yeah, you laugh at yourself, but you also love yourself because you know that you're actually doing your best. You're just a little.
You're not there yet.
You're not there yet, but you can see it's okay, and it's nothing wrong with trying. It's the way it is. Yeah. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a ride. It's just a beautiful ride.
Yeah.
So I think this concludes our visit in Nainital area.
Yeah.
So I think in the next episode we're going to talk about Rishikesh and also Dharamsala.
Yeah. The first week we were in Nainital, this beautiful place where we visited Nimkara Baba Ashrams and Sambara Baba and Hariakhan Baba, and actually also visited a temple dedicated to Sai Baba. We won't talk that much about that. It wasn't the place we had stayed at, but we did that the same day as we were in Katagaria.
Yeah.
But the next episode we're going to talk about Rishikesh. We stayed there for a week, and then we stayed another week in Dharamsala. So we will end our podcast series about our trip to India with the next episode.
Yeah. All right, so be sure to check it out.
Yeah.
And as always, go to Maldorma.com for we're writing articles, we're putting up pictures for all these places we have visited. All the previous podcast episodes, you can find everything there. So be sure to check it out.
Yeah.
So thank you for this episode, and see you next episode.
Yeah, sure. See you.
Thank you.
Bye.